Thank you, President. Welcome to all of the Rotarians and the guests. We got a full house here today. I'm going to need to get into uniform here first. This is a construction project that we're working on. And we're nearing the end of it, but it is a hard hat area, so if you don't have a hard hat, don't come into the area. Now, what we're going to talk about here first is back last September, maybe around September 15th or September 16th, Kim arranged a sledgehammer party. Now, you all know what a sledgehammer is. Looking around, probably not. Those of you that reside in your offices, never get onto a construction project. That's a sledgehammer. This is the actual sledgehammer that was used to give the first blow to the parking garage to knock it down. We had a select group there, large group. Everybody got a chance to take a whack at the wall. You're a whack-a-mole, this is a whack-a-wall. No, we didn't do too good. We didn't do too good at all. But we worked on it. Worked on it for about a half an hour. And I have a short video here. It starts off with our news conference of the new name for the Yorktown, which Jack is going to explain much more about. And then also shows the sledgehammer party. So Ken, if you'll start that up.
Thank you all for coming out this morning. Good morning. Welcome to gorgeous downtown York, and welcome to the Yorktown Hotel. On behalf of our York County Industrial Development Authority, staffed by the York County Economic Alliance, my name is Kevin Schreiber, and I am grateful that you can share this day with us. So, for this big, incredible, exciting announcement, I welcome Mr. Jack Kay, the Chairman of the Industrial Development Authority, and Mr. Andrew Taymans, Vice President of Asset and Revenue Management with GF Management, which, as you likely know, is the named operator of this hotel. Podium is all yours. Let's take it away on this historic announcement.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you all for being here this morning. It's an exciting day for us. As we started this project, now going back more than 2 years ago, one of the dreams and aspirations we had was, wouldn't it be great if we could turn the Yorktown Hotel into not only a wonderful physical redevelopment project and a community asset, but we could imagine the benefits of it being a nationally branded hotel. And this morning, I am excited and pleased to be able to announce that we have accomplished just that. It's a Hilton! It's the Yorktown Hotel Tapestry Collection by Hilton.
Tapestry Collection is a fairly new brand within the Hilton family. It's designed for independent spirit hotels. Hotels that wish to weave their own story, to be part of the community and part of the neighborhood. And as a development team, we needed a brand that reflected its soul. A brand that allowed us to celebrate the rich history of the hotel, but create new experiences for the modern traveler. We have access to the worldwide reservation system of Hilton. We have access to the rewards program, one of the best in the world. And we have the recognition and trust that the Hilton name brings.
These important public spaces will be historically restored, the historic fabric preserved and enhanced and brought back. We want to make sure that this is something everyone will be proud of and feel a part of for a long time to come.
As you can see, after about a half an hour of banging on a brick wall, we didn't accomplish a heck of a lot. We had about a 2 foot by 2 foot hole in it. and I think we would be there for quite a long while if we wanted to finish it off. So we decided at that time we really had to get some help. We couldn't do it by ourselves. So we got a little help in, and Cam, would you share the help that we got?
Maybe. And then again, maybe not. Hang on. Let's start it over again. No. There it is. Let me start that over again.
It flushed.
Being annoying today.
Okay.
I can see it. It really looks pretty neat, actually, from here. Ah,
Try that thing.
Incidentally, as an update, we actually did go into demolition, and we should finish up by the end of this month.
There it is.
And
There it is.
next month, we're going to start looking at building,
ow.
going out to bid.
Try it one more time.
There it
There
is.
we go. Now, isn't that a little better than a sledgehammer? It's a little faster. That's it, the garage came down. The only thing left back there now is the 52 addition, and that's pretty close to it coming down. I want to introduce now Jack Kay, who's the president of Susquehanna Realty, and also the chairman of the Industrial Development Authority, of which many of us in here are either a member of or associated with. And Jack is going to bring you up to date on the name changing and some other important things, and most importantly, how you can become part of the Yorktown. You can own a piece of it. A little piece or a big piece, whatever you like to have. It's all up to you, but you can be part of it. Remember, this hotel was built in 1925, and it was done with local money. All local people contributing to it. So this is your chance to do it all over again. So Jack, you want to take over? It is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me back. I think it was approximately a year ago where I came in and gave you a little bit of perhaps a aspirational view of the kinds of things we hope to accomplish with our hotel. Today I hope to give you a little more detail and fill you on the progress we've made. First, I want to really give a shout out to Al. We've had a tough time holding Al back. You know, he's very enthusiastic. He actually offered to come in and help the Kinsley folks with demolition. We thought that maybe that wouldn't be the best outcome. So thank you, Al, and all of the other board members of the IDA, our co-conspirators who are here this morning. Thank you very much. What I thought I would do is briefly give you an overview of why we're doing this and how we're doing it. The objective, which we ultimately came to embrace, is to really make this a great community asset, to really make it a great full-service facility to continue to serve the community for the next 100 years. It will be 100 years old in approximately 7 years. And this objective came about after we responded to what we perceived to be a major threat in the community. The hotel was dark, it was being sold. The prospects were not very good, And the IDA felt that rather than leave it to chance, we really had to take grasp of this and make sure that we had the best possible outcome. Hopefully, being able to put together the resources and the talent that we would need to be able to do it again as a hotel. So what I'd like to do is briefly review some of the questions that were posed last year. Those of you who were here may remember that I used a prop, Karnak the Magnificent, to respond to questions. The answers were yes, no, we'd like to, and I don't know. Today I'll give you a little more detail. The questions that were answered: has the project started yet? You saw Al's video, it has. Has the project finished yet? I must say, Al is a little more optimistic and aggressive on the schedule than I think, but hopefully he's right and we're going to keep on the track that he projected. One of the questions everyone asks is there going to be something on the roof? And I'll show you that. And you already know that, in fact, it is a nationally flagged hotel. So for perhaps starting at the same point with you, I'm just going to quickly outline kind of the base of what we're working with. So the project entails, if I can press the right button, whoops, me.
The red one.
Go back. Okay, the project entails the site, which is the hotel, built in 3 phases, and we also acquired the Zion Church property that sits directly to the south of it. Of course, this is Duke Street, this is Market Street. And looking at it from the street level, not everyone realizes when you see it from this perspective, the 3 phases, the main one being 1925. Soon after it opened in 1927, the addition to the west, and in 1957, at a time when it was marketing itself sort of as a motor court, garage, and the 57 addition was constructed. We also acquired the Zion Church, which I mentioned. Our hope for this is that it will come in another phase. It's a beautiful space inside. It has beautiful art glass windows. And our hope is that this will become another function space some point down the line, which is actually larger and perhaps even a better shape than the existing ballroom. But absent a pleasant development, we really don't have the budget to be able to address this. So our plan is to really restore the outside, clean it up, backlight these beautiful art glass windows, and that will be a perspective you'll be able to see from the street. So what you see in sort of the beige pink area is what's proposed to be demolished, and that's what's taking place right now. When you look at it from Duke Street, the area, this is the 57 addition, is about to start seriously being taken down. If you go by the site, you'll see that they're beginning to peel off the aluminum. The lower section of the garage has, for the most part, been taken down. And when you look at it from Mason and the rear, this was the garage that was there that Al's little handy machine started picking away at that got to come down. So this is the back of the Zion Church. It's a big pile of rubble right now. We took the rear of the church off, and this rubble is going to be crushed, and it will be used to fill in the lower level basement of the hotel. And the area that's about to start really coming down, this is the rear, you're looking at it from the west looking east. This is the rear of the 57 addition. You can see the aluminum being pulled off, and probably over the next couple of weeks, you'll start seeing activity where it's sort of being picked at from the top down to bring it down. I don't think it's going to come down quite as quickly as Al had projected, but I know that the Kinsley organization will do everything they can to keep it on track. So if you went into the upper floors, and as Al cautioned, you can't do that without a hard hat, what used to be meeting rooms, what used to be hotel rooms is now pretty much down to slab and columns. Everything else has been taken out, all the mechanical, plumbing, basic structure is what's remaining. Another view from a different floor, the same kind of thing. And after we take down the 57 addition and the garage, in plan, perhaps one of the most significant new aspects of the design is the creation of this new arrival plaza. And in a minute, I'll kind of walk you through that. and show you how that's going to work. So this is a rendering of this new arrival plaza that's made possible. The garage was here, the 57 edition is here, and this new round arrival plaza is really made functional and possible by the cooperation agreement with the York County Commissioners. In order to be able to make this function, the little area between the existing administrative center and the hotel that's accessible from Market Street will now become part of the arrival experience of the hotel. So you'll see in a minute how you can pull in, arrive at this plaza, offload into a new area, and then park the car, or have your car parked for you, and then continue into the hotel. And just as a close-up, this gives you a little bit of a better sense of what that experience is going to be like. You might note the Jeff Koons sculpture that's in the middle of this plaza. If any of you can help me out with that, we would really appreciate that. But the experience is meant to be that you enter this new area from this plaza. You're going to be coming into a new arrival foyer. And because of the way the grades work, when you come in at this arrival area, you will not have to go up steps or use an elevator. You will actually be coming in at the level of the lobby. So that's going to be a little bit different than what you've experienced coming in from Market Street. So the other facade that's just as important, of course, is the front Market Street facade. Part of the project is going through an approval process to designate this for historic tax credits. That means we have to conform to Secretary of Interior standards for the renovation and restoration of the building. So the brick is being restored, all the windows are going to be replaced, the canopy will be brought back to its original design. All of this being approved by both by the state and the federal government in order to qualify for these tax credits. And you'll see a little bit later on, tax credits are an important element of the capital stack that we're attempting to put together to cover the cost of the development. So what I'd like to do is briefly take you through how this new arrival plaza is going to work, and briefly kind of take you through different areas of the hotel and depict how it's changing. So as I said, if you're coming east on Market Street, you'll be able to turn right before the hotel, come into a new arrival lane. There is a loading dock that's been programmed here, but as a guest, you'd be able to come in, continue up, arrive at this arrival plaza, and then when you're ready to leave, you continue around. You'd be able to come right out to Duke Street, make a left, and come into the city parking garage. Whereas before, if you arrived here, you needed to go all the way down to Queen Street, make a right, come down the alley, come back, and then navigate how you're going to park. When you're exiting the garage, this exit lines up directly with this lane, so if you're leaving, you go into the garage, get your car, you go directly across, right into this arrival plaza, continue around, and exit and go on your way. This is really a vast improvement in access and circulation of what was the case previously. So what I'd like to do is continue to walk you through. When you arrive at the arrival plaza, you'll be coming in to a new foyer. You won't have to navigate steps, you won't have to use an elevator. You would be coming in, and the space that you'll be arriving at is what used to be the Commonwealth Room, where the restaurant was located. That's being reprogrammed, and that will become part of the lobby area. There'll be a very nice seating area. There'll be a library, a wall, or an area that depicts York County history, hotel's history. And from this space, you'll be able to continue through, proceed into what is now the lobby. The change is that what was a seating area in this area along Duke Street will now become a small eating area. You'd be able to have breakfast there, afternoon tea, a light luncheon service, and there'll also be a bar in this location. The bar, as depicted here, is in this corner. That's still a work in progress. We're looking at different alternatives of where to locate it, but it's meant to be an active, very pleasant space that you'll be able to come in as a guest, or coming in just to utilize the hotel lobby, be able to have an event or a meeting there. Continuing through, you're still going to be able to come in from the Market Street side. The wooden doors that's there are historic, they're being totally restored. We're adding a new handicapped access on grade. And one of the big differences is as you come in, you continue down to a new elevator lobby. So the elevators will also be coming down to the Market Street level. So you don't have to go up the steps. You can if you want to, but you won't have to go up steps. There'll be elevators in this location that'll take you back up to the lobby level. And then in addition to the actual hotel spaces, we are creating 3 commercial spaces. There's a space at the corner, formerly the People's Bank space. This is the Market Street entry. What used to be the off-center restaurant will continue to be a restaurant space. The difference being that now it will have its own dedicated kitchen. This area is back of house and kitchen for the hotel. And then there will continue to be a corner commercial space. And depending upon the restaurant, it could expand into the space, or if the restaurant is going to be large enough, it could take the entire area. And we're already beginning discussions with prospects for operating the restaurant. Our intent is to have an independent third-party restaurateur that will be different than the hotel management. And the hotel management will do banquets, functions, meetings, and those kinds of events in the hotel itself. As we continue up, we're now going up to the ballroom level. And the ballroom, it's a little hard to make out. The plan of the ballroom is really to restore what was built originally. Over a period of years, it's been modified slightly, it's been redecorated. We're going to be bringing it back to its original design. The space remains in the location that it is now. It'll be a little bit more flexible. There'll be more ability to break it up into separate function spaces or be able to do it as one large space. And there'll also be an additional space in what is now the mirror room depicted over here. The big change is if you can just make out these 2 windows in the back, which are currently glazed with mirrors, because of the demolition, these windows will be opened up. So you'll be able to have more natural light coming into the space. The other change, if you recall coming up to the ballroom level, you would now come up these steps, and there would be another set of steps over here. These steps are going away, and at the ballroom level, the elevators, which are brand new coming into the project, will also stop at the ballroom level. So now there was a very sort of awkward lift for people who needed handicapped access in this area. That's being removed, and there'll actually be elevator service. Then if we go up to the next level, the mezzanine level, this space is looking down onto the ballroom from an upper portion of the mezzanine. This is the access corridor that's there now. Again, the difference is elevator service at this level as well, and the space along this Duke Street elevation is available office space that we are looking to lease for office use or some other use that would be compatible with the hotel. Another set of bathrooms at this level. The other thing I neglected to point out is at the ballroom level, there's a brand new set of men's and women's bathrooms that are going to be coming in. If you recall, it's a pretty limited bathroom in the way it was designed right now. So going up into a regular hotel floor, this is a typical floor. It's a center-loaded corridor with hotel rooms loading off on each side. We've had a lot of assistance from our hotel consultant, GF Management, in developing the layout and size and flexibility of the spaces. This was also something very carefully reviewed with Hilton in terms of meeting their standards. And you can just make out, this is a king-size bedroom layout, pretty typical of the way the rooms are going to work. And I want to point out that with the help of GF Management, we are totally up to date in incorporating the latest thoughts about what should go into hospitality. So with that, I wanted to point out that Kim Jong-un, it was reported, chose to bring his own toilet to the meetings that recently took place. So we are taking all of these possibilities into account in the layout and flexibility of the hotel. And rest assured, if Kim Jong-un comes to York, we will be prepared and be able to address his needs. So the other big question is the roof being activated? This was something that we studied very carefully. When I go around and present to various groups and describe what's going on in the hotel, I would say the single most requested sort of feature to incorporate into the hotel and asked most is there going to be something on the roof. And to do that, we had to look at the structure, elevator access, handicapped access, all of the things that go into that kind of a decision. I'm very pleased to say that the plan does include activating the roof. This is a sort of sketch rendering of what that's going to look like. It's an outdoor terrace area. There was an existing apartment that's going to be renovated, and I'll show you in plan form what that looks like. So again, elevator access coming all the way up to the roof. The existing apartment, that was an apartment, is being turned into a space that will be a flexible function space. You can have meetings up there. You can have a private party up there. There'll be a bar up there as well, and probably a warming kitchen. So you could actually have a corporate function or a social function up there. And the outdoor deck area, which presents beautiful views, will be able to hold about 200, 250 people. So it's a significant function space that we see using perhaps initially as meeting corporate functions during the week, depending upon how active this gets used. And on the weekends, making it available for the public to use, come up and have a drink and be able to utilize it perhaps for small plate food offerings. So as we mentioned, one of the things after working with our consultant and sort of analyzing the market was to make a decision about whether we should go after a national flag. It's not an easy decision to make. There are costs associated with it. Once we felt that it would be to our advantage to do that, we then had to go sell ourselves to different hotel groups to see if they might have an interest in joining us in doing this project. And we had opportunities to meet with major chains. Having gone through that exercise, we came to the conclusion that the Tapestry collection by Hilton really represented the best alternative for us. It offers flexibility in accommodating a historic hotel, but it brings all the advantages of being associated with Hilton. It validates the York market. It validates downtown York as a place where they're willing to put their brand. It, as was pointed out, offers all their programs, points, reservations, marketing, the training that they provide. And most importantly, we are held to standards that Hilton requires. So anyone making a reservation is assured of a quality level, a type of service that will always be there. The other thing I want to really stress today is one way of looking at this project is that it's a redevelopment project designed to preserve an important physical asset downtown. That's really just the tip of the iceberg. As we have been doing this project, we have come to embrace the idea that this is a tremendous opportunity for the community, and our board is really desirous of making this something where the entire York community becomes engaged. And we're reaching out and trying to do that very aggressively. So for example, we have, and I'm going to use the word partner, with York College. This past year, we've had 3 interns from York College that participated with us in all aspects of the project design, coming to meetings, understanding the programmatic side of it. Coming this fall, we're going to be expanding that opportunity. And this is being really solidified in the hope that the York College School of Hospitality will become an integral part of the hotel, interns working there and hopefully leading to career opportunities as well. We've also formed an association with the Cultural Alliance. We would like as many artisans, artists, craftspeople, the creative class in York, which is significant, to participate in the project. We have set up a meeting on July, I think that says the 24th,
Yes.
where a group of local artists invited by the Cultural Alliance will be meeting with representatives of our design team to really see what opportunities might exist to incorporate York-based art into the project. And on June 28th, we are holding another public forum. This will be held at the stadium, York Revolution Stadium, for the purpose of bringing everyone up to date, gathering input, listening to suggestions. We've benefited a lot from suggestions and input of corporate clients who have told us what they'd like to see in the hotel, from local institutions, clientele that have used the hotel in the past, to make sure that we're incorporating the features, technology, design elements, so that this really does become something that is as productive as possible. We've also worked with Christmas Addicts, and we're trying to provide as many opportunities as we can to small businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned contractors to participate in the project. Of course, Kinsley Construction is our construction manager. They are working with us and cooperating and trying to create opportunities by how the work is bid, how it's broken out, so that smaller firms would have an opportunity to be part of the project as well. And GF Management, who is our management company, has an interesting history of how they employ people and provide opportunities for advancement. And many of their senior management literally started out as housekeepers, maintenance workers, who have worked their way through the various ranks through the organization. This is just an example of some of the things we're doing as outreach. We are going to continue to be able to do that. We feel as many people as possible who can participate and feel that they had a part in this project, the more likely it is embraced, the more likely it will be successful. So what's this all going to cost? It is a substantial financial undertaking. We're looking at a construction budget that's in the low $30 million range. To overcome those capital needs, we're working on a number of strategies. We've been successful in getting approximately $12 million of various grants from the state. That has to be matched. We're working on local matches. We've been able to acquire today just under $7 million of philanthropic and foundation gifts toward that match. I mentioned tax credits. We're probably literally days away from getting final approval for the historic tax credits. It's worth about a $5 million stack in our capital formation. We're also continuing to look at new market tax credits, which might be another $4 million or so. But we know that in addition to the long-term debt of about $5 million, which we think the project should be able to carry, that we are going to have to continue to pursue additional foundation support, philanthropic support, or investor support, which I'll talk about in a minute. Al mentioned that you too could be involved in the hotel in a small way or in a big way. In a small way, it's right in front of you on your table. There's a little flyer. It's got one of those sort of symbols on it that if you click, it'll bring you right to a web page, and you can instantaneously do that. And if you have loose change or you're feeling generous, you can click on that and make a contribution. We're putting together a program that might be a level above that, where gifts a little bit more significant might be recognized in some form of plaque or so. And we're also still looking at potential naming rights for major gifts that would go into the hotel. Donations can be made to the Industrial Development Authority. That's a tax-deductible donation because we're a government entity. You can be an investor if you're qualified to be an investor. Talk to your tax consultant about that. If you want to actually be invested in the LLC facility we've created. As I indicated, GF Management is the operator, and the whole project has now entered into the franchise agreement with Hilton. So our schedule, Al's comments taken into account. It will vary a little bit. We hope to wrap up in fall of 2019 if everything continues as planned. And this is our team. I really must say that this is a great cooperative effort. All of the firms and entities here working together, pulling in the same direction to see the best possible outcome. There are a number of staff people here from the York Economic Alliance who are working directly on the project. This is a great tribute to them in the dedication, creativity, and input they're providing to the project. It would not be possible without them, and I really appreciate all of your efforts. So this is our team, and this is what we hope to see in the future with a lot of people back at the hotel. I hope to see you there as individuals and with your corporations, and it would be just wonderful to see Rotary coming back into the hotel as well. So I'm going to end with that, and thank you very much. And I'm sure if there's some questions or comments, I think we have a little bit of time to be able to take those.